Hello and welcome to Lantern Lane Stories. Tonight's story is When Jorge Was 10. In a neighborhood called Palermo in Buenos Aires, there was a boy named Jorge. His father had filled their home with thousands of books. Most of them were in English. The air in the library smelled like old paper, leather bindings, and something sweet, like time itself lived there. Jorge's father spoke English at breakfast, at dinner, and in the evenings. So Jorge grew up understanding both languages at once. English words in his left ear, Spanish in his right. One afternoon, when the sun painted the window frames gold, Jorge walked slowly past the shelves. His small fingers traced the book spines as he passed, and then he stopped. A book caught his eye. The name on the cover was Oscar Wilde. He pulled it down carefully as if it might break. When he opened it, the smell of new pages rose up. Papery, faint, almost like spring. He began to read. The story was called The Happy Prince. It was about a golden statue that looked over a city. The prince was beautiful, but sad. He saw people below him who were hungry, cold, forgotten. He had no money to give them. So he told a swallow to pull the gold from his own body and carry it down to the poor people. Page by page, Jorge read, and something in his chest grew warm and tight at the same time. This story was so lovely, so true. He thought, why does everyone in Buenos Aires not know this story? Why can't everyone read it in Spanish? His heart beat a little faster. An idea was forming. For days, he could not stop thinking about it. He would read the story again and again. He would lie in bed and hear the words in his head, both in English and Spanish. One evening, he asked his father very quietly, "May I borrow some paper and a pen?" His father looked at him and smiled. The kind of smile that means a parent knows something important is about to happen. Of course, mi hijo. What will you write? Jorge sat at a table with the Wilde book open before him and a blank page waiting. He dipped his pen in ink. The nib touched the paper, and he began, not copying, translating. Each English word had to find its Spanish twin, but not just any twin. It had to sing the same way. Happy Prince became Principe Feliz. But that was only the beginning. How would he translate the prince's sadness? How would he make the swallow's loyalty sound as brave in Spanish as it was in English? His hand moved across the page, page after page, filled with his careful handwriting. The ink marked the paper like small dark footprints. Some nights he would cross out whole sentences. He would read them aloud, listening carefully, the way you listen to a song to hear if a note is wrong. If it didn't sound right, if it didn't feel like Wilde anymore, he would begin again. His father sometimes passed by his table and paused. "How is it going?" he would ask. "It's very hard," Jorge would say honestly. "I want it to be perfect." His father would place a hand on his shoulder, warm, steady. "Keep going, mi hijo. You are doing something brave." And Jorge would keep going. 1 week became 2 weeks. His fingers grew stained with ink. The story took shape, word by word. The prince's sacrifice became real in Spanish. The swallow's questions became real. The poor people of the city became real. And slowly, Jorge realized something. He was not just copying a story. He was making the story live in a new language for people who would never read the English original. When the last page was finished, Jorge set down his pen. His hand ached. His eyes were tired. But something inside him felt light. He read the entire translation from beginning to end, listening to every sentence. And it was good. It was very good. His heart began to beat faster again. That evening, he found his courage and asked his father, "What if I sent this to a newspaper?" His father did not say, "You are too young." His father did not say, "Why would they care?" Instead, he smiled the same knowing smile as before. "If you believe in your work, you should share it," he said. "The world needs your translation." And so Jorge wrote a careful letter to a newspaper in Buenos Aires. He wrote his name, Jorge Luis Borges. He wrote his age, 10 years old. He explained that he had translated a story and he hoped they might publish it. His mother helped him fold the pages and place them in an envelope together. They walked to the post office. Jorge placed the envelope in the slot himself. He listened to it fall into the darkness below. Now it was out of his hands. Weeks passed. Jorge tried not to think about it. He read other books in his father's library. He went to school. He played in the Palermo streets, but somewhere inside a small part of his heart waited. Then one morning, his father came home with the newspaper. He was smiling in a strange, proud way. "Jorge," he said, "come and see." And there it was. The Happy Prince translated into Spanish, printed in the newspaper for anyone in Buenos Aires to read. Jorge saw his own words in print. He saw the story that lived in his heart now living in the world. His name was there too, Jorge Luis Borges. He could not look away. A neighbor came by and read the story aloud. An aunt visited and said, "Who translated this? It's beautiful." Some people assumed the father had done it. Surely a boy could not translate Wilde. But it didn't matter. The story was alive. The prince was speaking Spanish now. The swallow's wings beat in Argentine air. Years later, when Jorge had grown into a man and had become a famous writer and translator himself, someone asked him, "What changed your life?" He thought for a long moment. "My father's library," he said. "Finally, the 1,000 English books. If I had to choose only one thing that matters most, I would choose that room full of stories." But he also remembered the boy he had been. The boy with the pen, the boy who was not afraid to try, the boy who believed that a story, someone else's beautiful story, was important enough to spend weeks bringing into Spanish. And when you walk through Buenos Aires today, you still find translations of Wilde, of Shakespeare, of poets and writers from every corner of the world. They are there because translators keep bringing them. Jorge Luis Borges taught us that it is not rude to translate. It is an act of love. It is how we share the world with each other. And so Buenos Aires also slowly fell asleep. Good night.